Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. In Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Super excited to be back here at Keek on the Mic today, as the report out of Chicago is this: Bears offense ready to prove everybody wrong. And obviously, when you look at this offseason, the Chicago Bears offense has been under the microscope all offseason long. From Justin Fields to the offensive line to the wide receivers, critics have had a lot to say about the Chicago Bears offense. During recent interviews, offensive linemen Sam Mustipher and Cody Whitehair explained that they know what critics are saying about the unproven Bears offense, but feel good about being better than people expect in 2022. This is what they had to say. "You hear it. We know what's being said about us," says center Sam Mustipher, "but it's only about the guys in that room with us. It's about the team. But on the offense, we understand the standard that we have set for ourselves. Now it's time to go out and do it." He added this: "That's the fun part of the game. When everybody's doubting you, you kind of look inwards at each other, batten down the hatches, and circle the wagons and go out and prove everybody wrong." Cody Whitehair added to this by saying, We know what we're capable of, and we're really excited with where this team is at. Once teams play us, they're going to feel us and know we're for real." Interesting. The reason why this is so interesting for me is that it's coming from two offensive linemen, right, for the Chicago Bears. And obviously, all offseason long, there's been many critics bashing this Chicago Bears offensive line, which rightfully so. Last year, the Chicago Bears offensive line was terrible. They gave up, I believe, 36 sacks on Justin Fields. And I think overall they gave up one of the most sacks in the NFL as a unit. So yes, this Chicago Bears offensive line was terrible last year. Obviously, Ryan Poles came in and really attempted to fix the situation. And I feel really confident in the direction of the Chicago Bears offensive line as we reach this new NFL season. But something that I really want to point out is what Cody Whitehair had to say, especially at the end of his statement, right? He says, "We're really excited with where this team is at. Once teams play us, they're going to feel us and know we're for real." Once again, they're going to feel us. I think that is a good example of the culture that Matt Eberflus has brought to Chicago. He loves that hits principle, right? Where everyone's flying to the football, everyone is running. It's an effort-based team, right? So I think that's what Cody Whitehair means when he says they're going to feel us and know we're for real. This team is going to be ready to play every single Sunday. You can never doubt that about a Matt Eberflus bunch. This team is going to be ready to go against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. And I can guarantee that. They're going to push the San Francisco 49ers, and I know a lot of people are saying that this is going to be an easy win for the San Francisco 49ers, right? I don't think that's the case at all. And that's not me sitting here just because I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I'm just trying to be realistic. This team is going to be ready to play. And I know it's just preseason, but every single preseason game, Matt Eberflus's bunch was ready to go. And I don't expect any different from the 53-man roster as they take on the San Francisco 49ers in week 1. Obviously, another thing that's interesting about the two offensive linemen coming out and saying this about how they're ready to prove doubters wrong, how they expect more of themselves in 2022, right, is because a lot of the offense success will hinge on the fact if this offensive line can take this next step, if they can improve as a unit. Like I said, I feel like we added a lot of good pieces. Yes, I feel like we are younger. Obviously, you have Braxton Jones at left tackle. You have Tevin Jenkins at right guard, Larry Borom at right tackle. Obviously, those are a lot of young guys. Of course, you have center Lucas Patrick, and then, of course, Cody Whitehair at left guard. Those are your two veterans on the offensive line. But when you look at guys like Braxton Jones, when you look at guys like Tevin Jenkins, right, playing right guard for the first time in his career, right? When you look at Larry Borom at right tackle, all those guys are very young. So if this offense wants to succeed, it always starts in the trenches, your defensive line and offensive line. So it's no different. if this Chicago Bears offense wants to take the next step, it hinges on how well the Chicago Bears offensive line does. So obviously, I love to hear it. I love to hear the vote of confidence from Sam Mustipher, and I love to hear the vote of confidence from Cody Whitehair, because these guys are going to have to step up. I'm not sure if Sam Mustipher is going to start at center. I'm pretty sure Lucas Patrick's going to be ready to go. But if Sam Mustipher is going to be the starting center, he needs to step up his game. He wasn't very good last year. Cody Whitehair has to step up his game, right? Everyone on the offensive line has to step up their game in order for this Bears offense to succeed. So that's another reason why I found it very interesting that the two offensive linemen came out and are saying that they're ready to prove doubters wrong. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. That, obviously Cody Whitehair is one of the veterans of the team, and he's one of the leaders of the team. So you need guys like that to step up and say, you know what? We know what we can do, but now it's time to go out there and actually prove it. So even though I know for the Chicago Bears offense that there's going to be bumps in the road for this offense, I can actually see them shocking a lot of people this season. And once again, I'm going back. Even though it was just preseason, you can see the Bears offense slowly start gaining an identity for themselves. And that was without guys like Byron Pringle being out for the entire preseason. Lucas Patrick, like I just mentioned, coming back at center, being out for the entire preseason. And then Velus Jones dealing with some injuries as well. And you obviously know that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, they love the idea of what they're going to be able to do with Velus Jones Jr. in this Chicago Bears offense. And obviously Velus Jones Jr. obviously adds that special teams aspect as well as a returner as well. Obviously you saw it in Seattle where he almost broke a big punt return against the Seattle Seahawks. So he also adds that dynamic as well. So obviously add these guys healthy, and obviously yesterday they all returned to practice, so that's a good sign. So add these guys in the mix, add and get them healthy. And this offense may actually surprise a lot of people in 2022. And once again, and I'm going to kind of piggyback of what I said yesterday. If you watched my video yesterday on Justin Fields and how he's ready to prove doubters wrong, what gives me peace moving forward with the Chicago Bears offense is that Justin Fields is continuing to improve. He is taking command of the offense, right? You saw that in preseason. He's making all the right throws. Once again, you saw that in preseason. And he's protecting the football. Once again, you saw that in preseason. I know a lot of people say, well, Keek, it's just preseason. Yeah, you could say it's just preseason, but Justin Fields was the best second-year quarterback in the preseason. Mac Jones didn't look very good, right? Trey Lance looked all right. Justin Fields, at times when they actually gave him the keys and let him run a full half of plays, looked very dominant. So that gives me peace that Justin Fields is actually improving. And once again, we will see if this translates to the regular season, but I'm confident that Getsy will continue to put Fields and the other players on the offense in a position to succeed. And once again, I said this earlier in a couple podcasts ago, the Bears offense will have a chance in week 1 to prove doubters wrong, as they will be going against a very stacked 49ers defense. Of course, you have Nick Bosa, you have Eric Armstead, you have Fred Warner. So, you know what, Cody Whitehair? You know what, Sam Mustipher? Step up against Nick Bosa, right? Step up against Eric Armstead. And you know what? Already after week 1, if you go out there and prove yourself against a very good 49ers defense, I'm pretty sure the doubters will be like, okay, the offensive line for the Chicago Bears is a little bit improved. Of course, you'll still have a lot of work to do. Of course, you still need to prove yourself for a full season. One game is not going to get the doubters off your back, right? There's always going to be doubters, you know? That's just the nature of when you play a competitive sport. There's always going to be negative things about you. You just have to have a strong mindset. But if you can go out there against a strong, stacked 49ers defense, led by Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and Fred Warner, and just basically shut them down and just torch them, oh yeah, the doubters will definitely calm down a bit and be like, you know what? Hey, we have to give you a little bit respect, as you just dominated a very good 49ers defense. So yes, the 49ers defense will test the Chicago Bears offensive line and the offense as a whole. But once again, if the offense can go out there and play very well against a very good 49ers defense, that would give the Chicago Bears a lot of confidence moving forward. But overall, like I mentioned yesterday and Keek on this other Keek on the Mic podcast, I'm very excited to see this offense play this season, and I hope they can prove doubters wrong, and I think they definitely will. I think the Chicago Bears offense is very sneaky, and I think they know what they can do, and I think they're just ready to go out there and prove doubters wrong. Before I let you guys go, Bears fans, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think this Chicago Bears offense will go out there and prove doubters wrong this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
Running with country bear. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.